holy water, light my altar candles, get my incense going, and then I'll just like go meditate for a bit, get myself into the trance state, or I'll do a couple of shots of whiskey and get to work. You know, because whiskey helps with getting that altered state.
It's like wine. It's
Yes.
still divine.
And then I'll do the work. And then afterwards, whenever the work is done, then I'll just grab my Florida water again, and then I'll sprinkle it around, just going, you know, widdershins again, because that's what I'm used to for dismissing spirits. And I'll just thank them. It's like, okay, guys, thanks for your help, blah, 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 what have you, and everything like that. Some people will say the Lord's Prayer. Some people will say Psalms 23, the Apostles' Creed, all that stuff. You know, it all depends on what it is that you're used to and what it is that you want to do.
I think it's really easy just to talk to them.
Yeah.
If they're actually working with you, it's like buddies.
And, you know, it's not like voodoo where there's like long ceremonies and opening rituals or anything like that. That's a whole other spiritual practice in itself.
With this one, it's more like you got friends on the other side.
Yeah. Hoodoo is about magic. It's sorcery. It's, you know, getting tangible results for what it is that you're wanting. You know, but it's also using everyday things that are around you that you find around your home. Like using empty bottles to create spirit traps.
Foil.
Foils.
I've used foil for reversing.
Yeah, for reversing work. So have I. But you want to bind an enemy who's giving you problems, write their name on a piece of paper. Sprinkle some sugar on it, wrap it up. Wrap up the paper, fold it away from you, and then wrap it up in aluminum foil, throw it in a Ziploc bag, fill it up with water, toss it in your freezer. Works really well. One for court cases that I've given to clients in the past, especially for stuff that they're having problems with, is I'll tell them, write the judge's name on a piece of paper, put it in your left shoe for women and your right shoe for men. That way you walk all over the courts, and that you know, it's very practical with, you know, what it is that you're wanting and needing. So a lot of books will tell you, you know, you could do, you know, special baths and everything like that. If you're doing a specific work, yes. If you're doing like doing some ritual work for good luck, and you got your candle, you know, ideally you would take a spiritual cleansing bath to clean off all the bad crap off of you that you accumulate. Negativity. Usually it's a specialized bath, like fast luck bath for luck. Love for love, obviously. Money drawing, money stay with me, stuff like that. All your correspondences match together. You're not going to be like, okay, I'm going to do a love bath, and then I'm going to do a money spell, and then I'm going to go ahead and burn like black arts incense. No. You know, correspondences, keep it all together. You know, and that's how I usually work with that. And once after I do the work, you know, I always splash some Florida water, or I'll grab some whiskey and I'll pour it around and thank the spirits. And I actually pour it on the carpet. Just got to be careful not to set anything on fire near the carpet.
Yeah, and if you're renting, just know if you're pouring wine on your carpet, you're going to stain it.
Yes. And I don't care what shout says, that shit does not come out sometimes.
Oh yeah, so something I forgot to mention when you were talking about Florida water. With my paradigm with the Luciferian stuff, what I'll use is consecrated water, and I'll use like a silver chalice for the Leviathan aspect, but in that I'll put bodily fluids. Should I say which ones?
Go for it. Y'all grown up. Well, some of you are.
We put blood and sexual secretion within it. So you're going to have to, whether it's using a pokey, what are they called, lancet? Whether it's using a lancet or using a knife. I started using lancets when we got together.
Blood bothers me. Okay.
Because the way I used to do it is, if I needed blood for a ritual, I would just go like all cinematic and like cut my hand and just...
Yeah, I'm just like, no.
You almost passed out when I used the lancet on your finger. I love you.
Yeah, I have issues with blood. I'll just about pass out when I get blood drawn for medical stuff too. So
I'm just like, ooh, it's blood.
Yeah.
It's like frosting on the cake.
Yeah, I love gory movies. It's really weird though.
So that with your sexual secretions, sprinkling it around, using it to call in the divine. It's almost like a wine blessing ritual whenever you drink it in after. Because I drink it after, and it has sexual secretions and blood in it, and I mix it, charge it, sprinkle it, and charge it again, and then drink it.
To each their own.
Yeah. At least I'm not using like scat or
Ew.
anything like that. That's a lot to clean up. And
Oh, what about your other paradigm? Oh, that was it with hoodoo.
No, that was with Luciferians.
Yeah, his Luciferian stuff.
Or you can use it with chaos too.
Yeah. So what about your other tradition that you practice with the brujeria?
Oh my god.
Not
It's
to be a hater.
brujeria, and then it's very similar to hoodoo, but I think like last time we made this video, you were like, but in español.
But in Espanol.
I don't do a lot of my spells in Spanish. I've done a few.
Lo siento, no hablo español.
Santa Maria.
Yeah.
But no, I don't work with a bunch of different spirits, but I did find ways to adapt witchcraft into it because it is a mixed practice that is very similar to hoodoo. I think like even Luna was covering this in the video that we were watching, that we were mentioning earlier. But what I do is very similar because I have my holy water, but I mix it with different herbs that we gather in the graveyard with other oils and dirts into the water for when I'm working with Santísima Muerte. And I'll go around sprinkling it after the space is cleaned up. And then I'll do my own call to her specifically because I don't go calling orders with it just because I don't feel I need to. And with her, she transcends to the heights of heaven and descends into the far depths of hell. She kind of has both sides under her dominion. She's like she's like Mercury almost, but they're not the same people.
Yes,
Or-
and she is not Hecate.
She is not Hecate.
Stop calling her that. She don't like it.
Mm-mm. Neither of them like it.
Yeah.
I work with both of them, but I don't mix them is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're very territorial. Not that it's a bad thing, because I'm territorial too, but
Mm-hmm.
but I work very well with both of them. I'll admit I get lazy and I don't pay attention, but I'll talk to him and remind me.
Yeah, it's like going
Yeah.
to an Italian restaurant ordering Mexican food because they both speak Latin-based languages.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, so don't do it.
That's a good explanation, but it's like they call me Hale, they call me Stacy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not their name.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of people who will do that, and I'm just like, oh.
It's like mixing deities who don't like each other.
Mhm.
Don't do it. Yo, screw yourself up.
Yeah, we have a friend who has a similar experience where he put Hades and Hecate on the altar. Hey,
Hey, I know
Look
you're
at
probably
that.
gonna watch this, but
yeah,
I told you.
it's a cautionary tale.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you put Hecate and Hades on the same altar, things just got really crazy. Relationships, all kinds of nutty stuff was going on, and so he was just like, I don't know what's
She's
going
not
on.
just an underworld.
Yeah, she can traverse. She goes.
She's pre-Olympian.
Yeah, she rides the wave.
Yep, she Titan.
Mm-hmm.
She old school.
But at the same time, her and Hades don't really have the best of stuff going on
Relationships.
because
Look at her like Endora and Darren
mhm.
from Bewitched.
yeah,
very
they can
good
get along to a certain extent, but
But don't leave them in a room together. Someone's gonna end up dead.
yeah, and we have just like with our with his Santissima shrine, we have it in another room.
Yes, completely different room. Opposite ends of the
Yeah,
rooms.
and Hecate we have
In the bedroom.
Mhm.
She don't mind whenever freaky stuff happens.
yeah, she was just one instance she came through and she was like, I was in Rome and Greece. I've seen worse. Or I've seen better.
She's like, y'all basic.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. But I also
She went
have,
to the good parties.
Yeah.
She was up class.
see, and I also have a shrine to, I think it's pronounced Taisi. We're still trying to figure out how to say the name properly. But
She responds. Oh, she's so pretty too.
Yeah, she responds to Taisi. Some people say it's Taiki. And
Some
but-
people call her Fortuna,
Mhm.
daughter of Jove.
Yeah, and she's in the same room with Hecate. They get along great.
Yeah, well, same pantheon, but
Yeah.
it's not like they're. It's not like they have issues, because Tyce's dad and Hecate get along very well.
Yeah,
beloved
and-
of Jove, beloved of Zeus.
Yeah, and we've invoked Zeus in the room with Hecate's shrine and everything like
They
that.
get along fine.
No problems.
Yeah,
Um,
I like to say they're homies as
Yeah.
a basic way to explain it.
Yeah, we've invoked Pan. Totally chill. It gets a lot.
Pan is hot.
Yes, he is.
Oof.
But I forgot where we were going with this one.
Oh, deities and not calling Santissima
Yeah.
Hecate.
So cautionary tales. So
Yep. So, anyways, when working with Santissima, sometimes I'll feel the presence of ancestors, sometimes just dead people, sometimes animal spirits. Like, you don't work with owl spirit, but with her, I'll work with it.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that's a cultural thing for him.
yeah,
It's a taboo.
for my show, for my tribal side, it's, we have certain animal omens that I don't, certain animals that way I don't work with personally because of that, it's out of respect to my ancestral lineage, part of the bloodline that I am. The way that the spirits explained to me one time was that, other people can work with stuff, that's fine. That's, that's not, that's not your blood, or that's not their, but you are part of this lineage. You, that ancestral memory type dealy thing going on with it. So it will have an effect on you because of years of belief that this will have a negative impact on you. That's where that comes from. So, like with certain animals, like serpents, snakes.
It's always interesting when doing
owls.
a Luciferian ritual with you because I use a lot of serpentine energy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why it grounds you out rather than the whole emptiness of space.
Yeah. So, I don't work with that. When I'm doing shamanic work, I don't, call on those energies because it can have a negative reaction to me on a cultural level. And I've actually been to ceremonies, contemporary shamanic ceremonies where people have done that, and I'm just like, oh.
You're like, girl, no.
Yeah, and one woman that I was, used to hang out with who did a lot of shamanic work was calling on some of these energies that I didn't really deal with on a cultural level, and I ended up with more problems after she tried to work with me, and I just had to stop with that for a while.
Yeah, because I know, like, on a family level, I know a few relatives who have used serpents and owls, but they also do have a cultural symbolism because I'm Hispanic. The owl, the lechuza, the form that, or even more commonly known as, like, almost like a witch's familiar, even, like, in our, I think it would be called pop culture if it's a book, would it? If it's fictional? Bless me, Ultima.
Yeah, it'd be like a pop culture type thing, I think.
Yeah, it's like a pop culture thing with, in Hispanic culture, that owls are associated with witches. And even though Ultima was considered a curandera, she was still practicing a form of magic and sorcery. Her spirit was the owl, and it worked with her, and they worked together. Some people would say that almost like in other cultures that there are people who change shapes and shift, that witches did the same, whether it was a cat, a dog, or an owl typically, or even coyotes.
In European culture, it's the same thing too. In my culture, we have the same, shapeshifters as well, and
Your shapeshifters
they're scary.
kind
Yeah, they're
I like their
scary,
shoes, though.
Yeah, well, we ain't going into that ever. That's
Yeah.
no.
No.
But so I gotta you gotta respect the lineage that you're part of. You're not gonna sit there and say like I'm going to call Jesus in the Eastern Quarter because he represents enlightenment. Yeah, and then call on pagan gods. Might not work out so well for you. Like when I'm doing my shamanic paradigm,
I don't think you should call deities in quarters at all.
Yeah, I've seen people do it, and I've
Especially random pantheons. Like, yeah, we'll use Jesus for the East idea.
Yeah.
We're not actually saying we do this or recommending it, we're just using it as an example. And then in the South, they put Sekhmet. In the West, we'll say that they're putting Hecate there. And then in the North, Buddha, yeah. Mixing all of that together, it's either A, no one's going to show up, or B, it's going to be like an awkward party where no one's talking. And everyone's just glaring at each other from across the room like, why are they here?
Yeah, like, you don't know me. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
But, what I'm doing now, so you gotta be careful with the type of stuff that you're calling in. You can't just call on whatever.
Yeah, it's like calling angels in when you're trying to do a Gawisha.
Well, actually, you can.
Yeah,
with
let me rephrase that a little bit better.
It's like calling...
You get what I mean, or where I'm
Yeah.
going with this, so maybe you can do it better with it.
Well, it would be, I think we kind of explained it pretty well. It's just
Yeah.
like inviting... It's like inviting, you basically are inviting possible opposing energies in to one particular working area where you're doing spiritual work. And the effect can be very negative. Or it will just not happen. Because
Yeah.
energies conflict, and some entities, are known to punish people for disrespect.
That's
I've
very
seen it happen.
common.
Yeah, I've seen it happen a few times with people that I've worked with and that I've done work on, rather than the shamanic paradigms that I've worked with. So you got to be careful what it is that you call in. Other stuff can work very well with, if you're just solely focused on that. Like in traditional medicine work in my tribe, I've seen some really strong medicine men and women who are Christians. who would go to church, and they would be doing prayers at the end of the ceremony to help heal a person and call on Jesus or call on Mary, what have you. But they still observe tradition because that's what we're born into, and that's where our ancestral lineage is. But they would still, do the work. I also know some traditional medicine people in my tribe who just focus on working with our old gods and our old entities and spirits and stuff like that. So that works really well for them. Like, I wouldn't call on my tribal gods and mix them with the Roman pantheon. No. That's just a part of that too, is just disrespectful. So
aside from disrespectful, the views themselves are very drastically different.
Yeah. So you gotta be careful with what it is that you're calling in. But back to the opening rituals. When I'm doing shamanic work, usually all I'll do is I'll just grab my sage, and I'll just carry.
Smudging mage.
Yeah, my smudging mage. I'll just carry that around a circle, or I'll just waft the smoke into the quarters using a fan and everything like that, and I just get to work. And then afterward, I'll light some sweetgrass and I'll re-smudge the area off just to send those energies home and thank them for their help. But there's no circle that's cast or anything like that when I'm doing shamanic work. Some shamans that I've seen contemporary will call on different animals, spirits, totem spirits. I've seen some New Ager ones call on Saint Germain. It's really interesting.
Saint Germain doesn't even look how they make him look on their little
no, that's
on the
a whole
oracle card thingies.
Yeah, that's a whole different paradigm in itself, and it's how he appeared to certain people, and they did artist renderings, and that's how some of those guys got their imagery and stuff like that. So, but I think we're about done.
Mm-hmm. We didn't talk ceremonial magic.
Yeah, ceremonial magic.
Yeah.
Different traditions, different ways of doing things.
Oh wait, I didn't even finish mine because you went on your rant.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't even. Okay, so where was I then?
I don't know.
Okay, so after I talk to her, I'll call her up, and then usually different spirits will come up. Oh yeah, that's where I was at. So I already explained that part. So you can rewind it back. Anyways, after that, I will give offerings with the work, and then I will release the energy from whatever tools I'm using, and then I'll cleanse the space again, say thank you, have a good night, stay if you like, because I don't command her.
Mm-hmm.
No. And then I'll come back out. Okay, there you go. Took 2 seconds.
Okay, now back to my rant. No, okay. What was the ceremonial magic?
Well, are you going to go which exact one?
Well, there's different traditions of ceremonial magic, and a lot of it's very much like some of the modern Wicca, where you're cleansing your space first. It can be the more common method of doing it that's adopted by a lot of Wiccans and witches is practicing the lesser banishing ritual of the hexagram, as it was developed by the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, a Victorian magical order. That was started by MacGregor Mathers and a couple of other people, which later kind of broke up and then was brought back together again, and now there's different orders who all claim lineage to the original order, blah blah blah. But all the teachings are roughly the same. LBRP, banishing ritual of the hexagram.
About 5 years of study for your 5-minute ritual.
Yeah, ceremonial magic is very precise, though. You have to have all your correspondences in order. And there's other traditions of ceremonial magic. There's the Rosicrucians. Some people say that it's more of a fraternal order. Some people say it's a magical order. I think it depends on which, I guess you'd call them a house that you are in. Because I also practice ceremonial magic, and the tradition that I practice is the Order Ashram Sophia. It's an Ogdeatic tradition based on Greek Hermetics. And I prefer that because it's not Christianized. It's more pagan. It's not like calling on archangels or anything like that, but you're calling on specific energies to, stabilize the energy after you're doing your banishing rituals and whatnot. A good book would be Foundations of... Wait, hold on.
Ogdeatic Magic for one.
Yes. Mysteria Magica, written by Denning and Phillips, published by Llewellyn. There's a website that I can, if I remember, I'll put it on the whatchamacallit description below. It goes over the Ogdeatic tradition and its practice. It's an offshoot of the Armed Solace, which kind of, from my understanding, went through some wonky periods, and then the separated group or the offshoot of that group became the Ashram Sophia. And so history is very weird with with the practice and everything like that. But that's the practice that's a form of ceremonial magic that we practice. So, but the rituals are very much the same with Golden Dawn. It's LBRP, banishing ritual hexagram, calling your watchtowers, and that's it. And then dismissing your watchtower, invoking your higher forces, doing work, blah blah blah. Then doing your banishing ritual, usually sending your watchtowers home, dismissing them. And then doing your LBRP again to help send those energies back to where they came from. Ceremonial magic is a little bit more commanding. So
it's very masculine overtone.
Yeah, it can be.
Like, by masculine, I mean very authoritative.
Mm-hmm. So
think of it like the Emperor card, where witchcraft and other things I would think of more like the Empress.
Yeah, it's more like, this entity's going to come here now because, will it? And with the Ogdiadic tradition, it's similar, but it's not as...
It's not as harsh.
Yeah, for me, it's not as authoritative.
It's not as brute.
Yeah, it's still... You still get the effects without being so...
Without being so snarky.
Not that all magicians are snarky.
No, I don't mean it like that. But...
It's YouTube. Someone's going to be like, oh my god, you're saying all magicians are snarky.
No, because you're a magician.
Yeah. So it's just
I'm so green with it.
Yeah. So he's still learning the tradition. I've been practicing it longer than he has. But, with the Ogdiadic tradition, it's performing the calyx. It's similar but different to the Kabbalistic cross. Then performing the setting of the wards. Similar to the banishing ritual of the pentagram, but different. And calling on different entities and stuff like that. Some of the visualizations are the same, but not necessarily the same. Followed by doing what's known as the rousing of the candidate. You can find this stuff in Mysteria Magica, step by step, and it goes into all of that. It's all done in Greek. There's a Hebrewic version that's in it, but the order just uses the Greek version from my understanding. So it's an international order, and if I remember, I'll post a link down and it'll take you to different spots. It's really interesting and really cool. It's easier for me to use or to work with because it's not Christian oriented. And I have a problem with using Christian stuff in my spells, even though I have the hoodoo background and I do the Lord's Prayer and other funky stuff. But for some reason with my magic stuff, with that, it just feels off. So, but yeah, and then after you do those opening rituals, closing is usually done the same way, closing down your temple, your ritual space, what have you, sending those energies back to where they came from. So.
Pretty much magic is magic across the board. Yeah. Similar setups, just plugging it in.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you're like me and you overcomplicate things, then you can run into problems. I've paradigm shift a lot, and
see, the thing is with your paradigm shifts is you overcomplicate it. The last few days, you've just been kind of rolling with it, and it's been easier on you.
Yes, I have.
What have I been telling you for months?
I have no idea.
Exactly what you're realizing now, but
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's too late to apologize, but
I'm not going to apologize for anything.
I ain't apologize for anything because I done told you.
So that's it for this video. Unless you had anything else to add. Mm-hmm. Okay. We're going to try to have an Etsy account up soon. We're just going to figure out how to work it. Well, how to do the Etsy thing.
Sorry, this lighter has just fixated my attention. I have no idea why this is so fun right now.
So, we'll work on some other videos and hopefully I'll get that information up for the Ashram Sophia as soon as I can. And that is it. If you have any questions, leave a question in the box below. If you like us, thumbs up. Feel free to share videos. If you don't like us, bye.
Bye.
I'm watching a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Alaska.
So, see you guys next time.
Bye.